Oh my God. And I got to pull Facebook up because unfortunately I can't tell. Hello, everybody. If you can hear me, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have the beautiful Lauren Jennings with me. As usual, I am going to be checking to make sure that you guys can hear me. If someone is in the chat, and if they could just ping and say, yes, Sheryl, we hear you, I would be so appreciative. I see we're live. Okay. No. I see we live. So I know. No, you didn't. I'm so excited. Hi, Julia Readus. Is that your girlfriend? She says, hi.
Oh, yes. That's my line, sister.
Oh my God. I can't wait to share this queen with you. Before we get started.
I love that she's here. Thank you for being here. Go ahead.
I would love everybody, before we get started, I need you to grab a notepad. I need you to grab your favorite beverage. And I need you to tag a friend, tag them in this text, tag them in on Facebook, start a watch party. Every Black woman needs to be a part of the conversation we're about to have today. We're all hurting right now. I know you're hurting. I was just talking. I know, but before we get started and I go into that, because it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire.
You should correct it and say, Lord, we were talking, but we also we got emotional, like that. So anyway, go ahead, Sheryl.
Please, no Black woman should not be on this call. Please tag, start a party, call a friend. I don't care. We're about to do something very fabulous for everybody. And today is about uplifting. We turned the TV off. We turned the radio off. We're going to be present. I'm going to start talking to you though. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start share to, isn't it on my page? I want to start a watch party, but I don't know how right now. So I'm not going to mess up because
go ahead.
I might do some other stuff, Lauren, that I'm not supposed to do. And my son will say, why did you do that?
Like, I told you not to touch anything, Mom.
I know, exactly. And he would say that. Okay, so this is what I want to do. First and foremost, everybody, I just want to thank you for being here today. As you know, Sheryl Grant basically started this platform as a way to acknowledge all the beautiful women, but especially women of color that are doing great things in the world. And it has been an amazing journey. I quit my job in 2017 to do this work, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. And basically, the platform is here to highlight both the journey and the success stories of professionals and entrepreneurs of color. We want to explore all the important and necessary information to help guide, inspire, and encourage all aspiring business owners and professionals of color. We plan to equip them with specific concrete examples, tools, tips, tricks to lead them toward their own success, not only in business, but in life. And the question that I always ask, are you ready to get fit? And what does FIT mean? FIT stands for faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith is about your ability to see beyond what your physical eye can see, but to see with your spiritual eye. Intuition is to learning how to trust that navigational system that is inside of you. It's also about tenacity, your will to just get it done. And I'm right now feeling that we need all of that in our lives. If I've never thought about fit for you, then now is the time for you to think. This conversation I'm about to have with you, coming upon this election, couldn't come at a more perfect time. I have to tell you, Lauren, at first I was in such tears. I thought maybe I should call Lauren and cancel. And I thought, heck to the no. Okay, I'm gonna just say hell to the no. God, I gotta get that out. I know I want to be appropriate. I do have to be appropriate. But I want to, you guys, give me a moment because I have to do justice in introducing to you this amazing queen. You don't understand. We got a powerhouse, a visionary, somebody who's bold, who's willing to step beyond the limitations that society has set for us and really stand out on our behalf. I love and I adore her. And I want to tell you a little bit about Lauren. A little bit about her background. She's born and raised in Oakland, California. Lauren Jennings has always been passionate about supporting and creating the advancement empowerment of women. A graduate of Cornell University. Go ahead, Lauren. Lauren is the vice president of operations at DCG Strategies. It's a boutique commercial real estate firm specializing in servicing mission-based organizations. Her clients include faith-based organizations and local private and public school districts. Lauren earned her California Department of Real Estate license in 2015. As a womanist, Lauren is the founder of the Best Me Conference. And if y'all missed that, I'm telling you, you missed a treat. It's a women empowerment conference created for Black women by Black women. The Best Me Conference is a jammed-packed day-long event for Black women to connect with like-minded women, for those working to become their best selves on all fronts. I know we need that. The first annual The Best Me Conference debuted in 2019 to a group of over 300 women and sold out in less than 3 weeks. Lauren, you did that. You did that. Lauren currently serves on the board of Cornell Hotel Society, Northern California chapter, and is the 2020 president of CREW East Bay, an organization dedicated to enhancing professional growth and business opportunities for women in commercial real estate. Lauren was nominated and recognized in 2017 as a Rising Rock Star, an award given to exceptional women 35 years and younger who are influential, dynamic, and show early promise as an industry leader. In 2017, Lauren started her women's ministry with a goal to connect young women, equip them with tools and resources, ignite them to live boldly in their calling. In addition, Lauren is the member and volunteers with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Links Incorporated, and Cornell Alumni Admissions Ambassador Network, Alameda County. I could literally go on and on and on and on and on about Lauren, but right now I need you, wherever you are, to give me some hands up in the chat window. Give me some high fives. Give me some fist pumps. Give me something to show Lauren some love. Lauren, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Sheryl. Thank you for having me. I say this every time I talk to you, but from my very first conversation with you, and I say this every time we talk, but like we connected on such a level. We
did.
We spoke the same language. We shared the same passions. And you supported me from our first conversation. And so I just want to say thank you for being you, and just thank you for having me here and for allowing me to share and chat with you. So thank you. It means so much to me. It really does.
No, and you know what, Lauren, we really did connect, and it's because our paths are so similar. Yeah. Your passions and your desires to make an impact in the lives of others are my passion and my desires. Yeah. And you know, today we're talking here about being mentally fit. This is my platform, and your platform is also really about being mentally fit because you're getting people prepared to live their best lives. But right now, I really want to get real. I really want to get connected. I really want to touch the hearts of every Black woman that's out there, whether you listen to this now or you listen to this later. I don't know about you, but when I'm going to do this first before I go down that path, because you and I were very emotional before we got on. So I want to ask another question first. And the question is, Lauren, what are you passionate about? I know I've just said it, but I want to hear it in your words. What are you passionate about?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I've thought about this and I've thought about it. And if I could take everything that I'm involved with and everything that I care about and sort of chart it on a pie chart, and sort of see, okay, like how are these all connected? And like, what is the common theme here? What I discovered, and really what I am truly passionate about at the end of the day, no matter what avenue I choose to display it in, is helping those who traditionally or historically their voice has been silenced, helping them to find their voice and be comfortable with their voice. And like, when I say that, it's like, well, who am I to like, help somebody find their voice? But that is what I am so passionate about, is helping others find their voice, not giving them their voice, because we all have our voice. But the question is, do we know what our voice sounds like? Do we know how to find our voice inside of us? And do we know how to share our voice with the rest of the world? So, when I think about my career, I work with mission-based organizations, helping them think strategically about their real estate, because historically, churches for sure are taken advantage of when it comes to their real estate. Even schools and school districts, before I even got into it, I never even thought of like, how does our local public school district, how do they even buy or sell their real estate? Like, who helps them with that? You just sort of think somebody does, but who? So if I think of that, if I think of even just the Best Me conference, of wanting to create a space specifically for Black women. I went back and forth, and we were planning of like, should this be for women of color or should it be for Black women? And overwhelmingly so, granted, like, it wasn't a long conversation that we had about it, but overwhelmingly so, we decided it should be specifically for Black women, because even in the realm of women of color, Black women are historically and traditionally pushed to the back of that. So allowing us to have our voice and bringing that voice to the forefront. And then, I'm on the board of an organization specifically focused on advancing women within commercial real estate. Commercial real estate, I mean, every industry is, but commercial real estate is historically a male-dominated industry. So how do we make sure that women who are pushed to the back are brought to the forefront? I'm on the board of an advisory board for a commercial real estate media company. And like, how do we make sure that if they're supposed to be the voice of the industry, how do I make sure that it's more voices than just white voices here? So, if I had to sum it up, that's what I'm passionate about, but specifically women, and then even more specific, Black women.
I love that. I love that. And, I'm really fine with you in that, because that's right. But I'd like to ask you a question, because this is one I've struggled with for a long time. It is a struggle, because I have friends that are in family that are white, and I have coworkers that are white. And so when I come to the platform, I sometimes feel like I don't want to offend anybody. So I walk a little gingerly. I still share my story. And one of the things I love that you did is you were unapologetic about it. Yeah. You decided to specifically go for Black women. Yeah. And I wanted to know, did you struggle along with that? Was it just a thought and you just decided, no, this is the right thing to do? This is what I'm going to do. And you did it? Did you have any struggles with that?
So I will tell you, it was a question that popped up in my mind, but it was not a question that popped up in my mind because I wanted to veer away from Black women. It was a question that honestly popped up in my mind because I said, well, what is society going to say if we have a conference and we specifically call out Black women? So I considered women of color, not because I didn't want to cater to Black women, but I would say it was probably my fears coming in and saying like, are you sure you can do that? Like, are you sure you can specifically say this is for Black women? And I'll tell you this. So when I first had the idea of, creating the Best Me conference, I sent an email maybe to 5 or 6 of my close girlfriends. And I just said, I have this idea. I want to run it by you guys. We had a phone call and I ran the idea by them. And I won't say that we're all biased. Mind you, they were all Black women. But I said, hey, what do you guys think? Without a doubt, it was like, no, Black women, like we need this. And overwhelmingly so, we all had said, like, this is something that we need, that we have wanted, and that we don't currently have. And so I think for me, that was that was just the confirmation. Like I already knew, like my spirit already knew. I was following my intuition,
Right.
but I just, when you're, I know, you see how I did that, right? But I will say though, like for me at least, as I have learned to trust my intuition, I think it's a process. It's like a muscle, right? Like as I've learned to trust it, I've needed certain confirmations to say like, yeah, Lauren, you're right. Like, yes, your intuition is spot on. Like, you can trust me. Like, you can trust the voice inside of you. And so that was the extra push and nudge I needed. So I considered it, but not really.
I want to let everybody know that's on this call. So thank you for sharing that. First of all, because I feel those emotions too. So what that tells me is that there's a lot of women out there that are walking this trying to walk this narrow road in terms of whether you're in corporate America trying to be you want to be included, part of. And I'm here to tell you, stand out, be yourself, take the hood off. We're masks when we go into America trying to portray an image. I want to here to tell you today, stop that. It's time for us to stand up and own our own spirit, and fight our own fears for a world that has had us conditioned in a box to believe that we're less than the women that we are. Black women are beautiful. We got black magic, and that's a real thing. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's a real thing. And the thing about it is our ability to be unapologetic for it. I know, Lauren, that your event was on fire. I mean, it was, from a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 20. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 20. It was a 20 not only in content, it was a 20 in terms of the music we played. Like, we weren't unapologetic. You let me play whatever I wanted to play. It was, okay, now I'm crying. Julia said, now I'm crying. No, because that's what we have.
Yeah.
And not only that, the speakers that you had, they were powerful. They came from the heart. Not only the speakers, but just how you had it set up. There were messages everywhere you walked. I'm sorry to just tout on you, girl, but I noticed all the details. All the vendors were Black women. It was Black products, the props, the photographers. You had young girls that were photographers. Girl, my spirit was feeling good when I thought I had come home.
Well, everything that you're saying was like, it was intentional. That is what we wanted. Like, far too often. And really for me, what spurred this is that constantly I am the only one in the room, like the only one in the room. And it's like, I can do it. I do it 5 days a week.
Right.
I do it every single, pretty much everywhere I go, I'm the only one in the room. And that's not to say that, it's too difficult for me.
Not at all. No, because we're more capable.
Yeah. But like, sometimes I don't want to have to do it. Sometimes I just want to just be comfortable, to be free, and not have to feel like I have my mask on, and not have to feel like I'm, code switching, because that is a thing. I don't want to have to feel like, okay, well, how do I say this? I've dealt with this on in different organizations I'm a part of, where I have to check myself to make sure that I do not come off as an angry Black woman. And it's like, I'm not angry at all. I am just very passionate, and I know what I'm talking about. But, I have to smile the way, like Kamala does it all the time. Like, I have to smile a certain way. I have to, say it like with a, little kid in my voice, just to make sure, just to be soft. But I said, okay, for one day, can I just look over and I see others who look like me, and I see others who are here for the same purpose. I see others who are like-minded. I see others who just get me, right? And then for our speakers, like, there's certain things that probably our speakers could have said to a room full of Black women that they might have to, adjust if it was not a room full of Black women. So we just wanted everybody to be free. So the fact that you're saying this, I'm like, that was our goal, and that's what we wanted to create. So thank you for recognizing that, and thank you for seeing that. Thank you for being there and adding to it, because you kicked us off. you set the tone the day up. So thank you, Sheryl.
I had a blast doing it. It was my honor doing it. But yes, your details were just everything. The lunch, the breakout sessions. You had my girl, Dr. Roche. She was on board doing her. All the women that you had, it was like an incorporation. It was a beautiful melting pot. That's the world I see. That's the world I see us moving forward in. I think that what this election has taught me, and this was a very hard truth for me. And family, if you're out there listening, please do tag a friend. It takes 2 seconds. This is a conversation. This is not meant to be. Lauren and I want to open it up to you. We want to know if this is resonating with you. And if it is, please do share it, because we need every woman to feel empowered. We need her to know that she's okay. Yesterday with this entire election, the two things I'm going to share, and I hope you're okay with this, is that I'm both in tears.
Yeah.
I don't know your tears, but I will say my tears. It wasn't so much about the actual election or red or blue or Biden or Trump. That wasn't it for me. What just kicked me in my chest, and I don't want to get emotional right now, was that there were 68 million people that voted for someone, and this is not economics. I'm not pivoting. From now on, I'm going to tell the truth. You either like it or you don't. And if you don't like it, I'm good with that. But the truth is, it wasn't about economics.
Yeah.
This individual spews hatred. He spews racism. He lies constantly. And we live in a world that was okay with that. We have 50% of the world. He doesn't want to support women. And he sure as heck don't like Black people. Let's just call it. Don't tell me racism doesn't exist. If you're white, I want to tell you I'm a Black woman. Racism exists. What we're explaining to you right now is about racism. And the fundamental thing that hurt me the most is, God, this is so sad that there's that many people. Do they hate too? Do they really hate us? And Lauren, I don't know that I have the question, but this is the better thing that I want to say. With us as Black women, it's time for us to come together, period. End of story. It's time for us to support each other. It's time for us to uplift each other. No longer side-eyeing, no longer questioning. If a girl wants to paint green toes and green fingernails and every other color with yellow hair, let her do that. Let her express her creativity the way she does. And let us all rally behind her to let her know, spirit-wise, she's okay. Because the one thing my grandmother said to me that I'll never forget, she said, baby, I can't be you and you can't be me. And Lauren, with that, I don't know where your tears came from, or if you want to share. And if you could share without crying, we got Lauren, we got you. Lauren,
I'm just reading Alicia's comment, and we go through so much as a people, is what she said. I had shared a little bit, just like a glimpse on social media, but the election night, I went to bed at 10 o'clock. One, I was just tired, but two, I specifically, November 3rd, I did not turn on the TV. I didn't want to watch any of it because I felt like I could not take it. Like the amount of stress and the amount of pressure and how much was on the line here. I chose self-care, and I chose to protect my peace, and I chose to go to bed early. And I was sharing with a friend, 5 a.m. I woke up, and I don't know if I had a bad dream, but I woke up, Sheryl, in a literal panic the next day. And it took me a minute I didn't know what was going on. Like I literally woke up in a panic, and the first thing I did was I checked my phone, and I just laid in bed and I cried. I laid in bed and I cried. And I couldn't tell you what one thing I was crying for. I was crying for Black America. I was crying for Black men. I was crying for Black children. I was crying for Black women. I was crying because the weight just felt so heavy, you know. And I wholeheartedly, I can't say I'm surprised, but like, how is this not a landslide? How? So that was Wednesday was when I woke up. And I didn't turn on the TV again all day Wednesday. I did not really touch my phone Wednesday. I didn't go on social media, and I had to take care of myself. And I had to be intentional about protecting my peace is something that I really focus on. And sometimes I forget, but I need to really protect my peace, because at the end of the day, like, I'm the only one that's going to protect it.
Right.
And, in a sense, like, we as Black women, like, we are not, and I don't want to say this in like a negative way, but we have to protect each other, because sometimes we are all we have. And not saying that as in like we're all we have, like, for us, but like, we have each other, and that is more than enough. So, I text a couple of my girlfriends and just to check in, and a couple of girlfriends texted me just to make sure, like, I'm here. I know we're all going through our own thing right now, but like, you're not alone. We're all hurting. So,
well, thank you.
It's been hard.
Yeah, no, and it's a heavy weight. And, one of the things that I am, my whole platform, my whole life, my upbringing since I was a child has been built on faith. That is how I was brought up. I was brought up with the Bible. I was brought up with believing that there is possibility in impossibility. That's just how I was raised. And it was my faith, because I'm like, God, how can you let this happen? How can you let this happen? And my son, and this is an honest testimony. My son, John Tay Grant, whom I love both of my children very much. They're both the apple to my eye. But he said to me, Mom, because now is the time, and about not so much why, but what are you going to do? This is your platform. You created this. It's time for you to level up and continue to spread the word to empower women. The question I have for the women out there, when we give you the tools, what are you doing to go help yourself? Because we have to be here together. But when Lauren gives the Best Me conference, do you sign up? Because I tell you, if you do, I promise you, you can come back to me and I'll pay you back. If you don't get 150% nourishment, encouragement to continue to believe in you. What I want, Lauren, and what the Best Me conference and my platform is for us to truly be unapologetic, for us to truly start working together, not only in words, but in action. Support Black businesses. Start working with people that believe in us. If they don't believe in us, why do you spend your money with them? Why do you go give them your money? Our power is in our pocketbook.
Pocket sure is.
And not no surface that you are committed to us. Because the thing I saw in this election is that they were putting people of color in front that didn't represent my voice. They don't represent me. I don't feel what they feel. And we need to have true representation. My question to that entire administration is, why didn't you go get somebody who is in the education field, who truly has a passion about the children? Or why didn't you go get somebody that's a working class mom so you could hear her struggles? Or why don't you talk to somebody who actually had COVID and their family member died? No, you didn't do that. And for me, the blatant disregard is just unacceptable. But now is the question, Lauren, what are we going to do about it? Now the question is, how do we rise above?
Yeah.
And, I said today, I came to inspire you. I don't want anyone to feel any darkness, but I really I want to hear from somebody out there. I want to hear from the audience. I have 9 people listening. Somebody, let me see. And it grows, Lauren, just so you know. It always grows. I don't know how to do a watch party. I wish I could. But I'd like to ask the question, how many of you experience this? Is it just Lauren and I? Are we the only ones? Do you have these same anxieties? Do you have these same feelings? And so I'd like to hear from you. And then with that said, Lauren, you have been navigating your career. You've been navigating, as you already have shared with me, you've been the only one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, just like now, Lauren, we're not going to let this stop us. We're going to only get better. And I want to know in those instances, how do you navigate, Lauren? How do you continue to stay engaged with the best me? How do you continue to want to make it better than what it was when you did? What empowers you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I had this question. I was talking to a friend about this, not specifically about the best me, but just about this one is in relation to the other organizations I'm with in terms of like when it gets difficult. And I was having an emotional conversation. I had a breakdown. And I was sharing how hard it was and how I was having such difficult conversations and how much time I was putting in and not seeing the results that I wanted to see or that I thought I could see or that I thought I should be seeing. And I sat there and I was crying, and then, I had to remind myself, and this is literally what I do, of like, I have to remind myself of my why. And I hear people say that, and I'm like, okay, remind yourself of your why. Like, totally sounds like, just like a textbook answer. But that's really what it is. Everything that I do, I don't do it for myself. I don't do it to bring, awareness to me or to like what I'm trying to do. I do it because I'm passionate about what the impact will be. So whether that is, providing a platform for Black women with the best me, like I'm doing it to provide a platform and to provide connections and networking for Black women. And so I have to remind myself of my why. And that's something that I try to encourage a lot of us women to do is, one, take the time to figure out what your why is. Take the time to figure out what your purpose and what your passion is. I've had different conversations, and I always tell people, or my perspective is, not to say that, this is the end all be all, but my perspective is that when you are in your passion and when you're in your purpose, you know it without a shadow of a doubt. When you're in your purpose and you are living it day by day, you will not be questioning, is this my purpose? Have I found my purpose? So I always try to encourage people, if you are wondering what your purpose is, I'll go as far to say that you haven't found it. But that's okay to keep searching for it. Or the things that, like, what makes you emotional? Like, what makes you, when you hear it, you get emotional, you get upset, you get angry. Pay attention to that, because most of the time your purpose is tied to that, right? Like your purpose is tied to it. For me, Black woman, it still does, and it used to make me so angry when Black women were disregarded, when Black women were not taken seriously. It hurt me to my core. And I found my purpose through that. And I said, I had to pay attention to, okay, this really affects me. What can I do about it? And that became my why. So for me, it's always go back to your why. It sounds so cliche. I know it sounds so textbook, but it really is truly like what I remind myself each and every day.
Right. Well, I'm in 100% agreement with you. Your why is very important. What I love about what you just did was broke it down in terms of helping people to understand what paths that they need to take in order to get to their why and understand what your why is. As of recent, just traveling around the country, I went to Utah about I don't know, maybe it was last month. Time is passing, and I got a chance to participate in a conference, and it was the most amazing experience. But in that process, Lauren, I looked around the room and there was maybe one or two other people of color. And then
Yeah.
for me, as it goes back to that being the only one in the room. And one of the things that I also became very clear for me is that when people want you, Lauren, you have friends, you're at work, you're in the corporate environment, or you're around friends and they're not Black. And
Mhm.
they say to you, well, I don't really understand. I mean, like, why is that way? Why do you feel that way?
Mhm.
Do you really think that there's racism? I want to say that to all my family, white family, friends, but my family doesn't do that, but to white friends who may do that, we are hurting.
Mhm.
We have a lot of pain. We have a lot of anxiety. This is falling. We got the pandemic. Then we have, people losing their businesses and their jobs.
Yeah.
And we have all this going on. And now we have this. It's
Right.
bearable.
Right.
I'm seeing teenagers calling me that are mentally they're going through it because this is too much. It's too much for anybody. It would be
Yeah.
too much for you.
Yeah.
So don't ask us to educate you about issues that should be prevalent for you.
Mhm.
That should be, if not, go educate yourself. There's a lot of movies out there. There's tons of them,
And books,
And, Lauren, do you have anything to add to that?
Um, yeah, I've had to have a lot of difficult conversations over the past couple of months, specifically with my non-Black friends and colleagues, even. You know, one of the organizations that I'm a part of, I am, I think, one of less than 5 Black people that's even a member of this particular organization. And, this was back when everyone was releasing statement after statement saying, like, we condemn racism, or we're anti-racist. And it was the end thing then to, take a stand against racism. And this particular organization, did not. And, I had to, it was very, like, it really hurt me because I'm like, do I not matter to you all? If anything, as a person, as a friend, as a member. And so there were people within the organization who chose to educate themselves and who took the time to do that. There were also those who didn't and who, looked to me to educate them. And I had a couple of those conversations. And then once again, protecting your peace, I said, it is not my responsibility to educate you on how, it's just not my responsibility to educate you. Just leave it at that. And so for me, I had to, again, practice self-care, and I had to make sure that I was protecting my peace, because I would leave those conversations in tears, like, as I was trying to educate, because it's so emotional. It's extremely emotional, because I have to put my mind back into certain experiences, or I have to put my mind, like, back into, the feeling of like the pain of it all. So anyway, so I completely agree with you.
No, I love your analogy. Like, you're using really great detail on why it's so painstaking and why it hurts so much, because you have to really mentally go back there. I was mentioning earlier that I did this conference and the women were so amazing and so engaging and so supportive of me.
Mm-hmm.
Though I was one of many, I was one of the speakers. And so
Yeah.
they flew me out to speak. But one of the things I was sharing with them, and it's so true, is that right now we have over 1,800 businesses that are started each day. 89% of those businesses are started by women of color.
Mm-hmm.
Of the 89% of those women, they're not getting any funding. They're not
Yeah.
getting any support. They're bootstrapped. But what I'm finding is the millennials and is it Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Y are
I think,
leading. corporate America by the droves.
Yeah.
And they're not from my generation. And my generation was where I was told, work hard, keep your head down. Don't worry, you can get there. And I did make some great strides, but I
Mhm.
never break that, what most call a glass ceiling. I call it a brick ceiling. And the
Last
thing
feeling.
for me was the other
Yeah.
thing, that there was not a place that I can go to truly get mentorship from somebody who looked like me. Because when you're a person, when you're Black, it's hard for me to explain to you that that hurts what you just said.
Right.
There and just
Right.
suck it up, because I don't want to get defensive. Like you said, I don't want to be the angry Black woman. I don't want to be on that side of the house. And a lot of these girls are just not willing to accept that and to move forward. So when you, Lauren, I want you to know, when you create platforms, and we need you. Where are you, millennial?
Yes, millennial. I had to think about it. I'm like, I'm a millennial. Yes.
Yes, you are. But we need you. You are our future. And we need your boldness, and we need you to continue to step up and really share the story and creating the platform for others. What you did was groundbreaking. What you did was really changing the game. And we need more of us. And I'm calling out to the audience right now. We need you to be a game changer too. You have a thought, you have an idea, you have a dream, you have something that you've been thinking about for a long time, and you've been sitting on it. It's been fear. Well, how am I going to do it? I can never find the money to do it. There's not anybody who's going to support me. All that talk is fear. The thing that I'm going to say to you is get yourself around people like Lauren. You could come to me. I got you. I got you. And together we can elevate the game. Would you give them any other advice, Lauren, of things to do in order to be their most amazing?
So,
Felicia
so
Duncan.
I will tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you
I
say?
will tell you, Sheryl, everything that you just said, and like, believe you me, like everything that you just said, I experienced. In terms of the conference, I will tell you, I got the idea to plan the conference maybe a year before, and I was too scared to do it. I literally, everything that you just said, I told myself, or I heard myself saying of like, are people even going to show up? Like, am I like, if I create this, are people even going to want to attend? Are they going to show up? Can I do it? I don't have the time. I don't have the capacity. I don't know enough people. How am I even going to get speakers? How am I going to, like raise the money? Like, where is this? And I'm going to have to put deposits down on places. Where is that money going to come from? Would people even want to like hear from me? Girl, that fear is real.
Yes.
It is real. And what I did, and so I shared with you a little bit of how I sent an email to my closest girlfriends, and I, wanted to share the idea with them. I remember it was 10 minutes before the call, and I broke down crying. I was so nervous because I didn't tell them exactly like what the call was for. I just said, I have an idea I want to share with you. I was so nervous to share my idea with them because I didn't know what they would think. I was like, they could either think this is a really good idea, or they could say, they would say it nicely, but no, Lauren, like that's never going to happen.
Right.
And and I hear this all the time, and I feel like everything I'm saying, it's like, okay, we've heard that before, but it's so true. And I only can understand it and really believe it because I've actually pushed through it, I really had to believe in myself and believe in my vision more than other people. When it came time for the Best Me conference, Sheryl, I don't know if I told you, but I was pitching the idea to different venues to, like, hey, we don't have all the money yet, but like, just help reserve the date for us and, we'll work it out. Yes. And I had one tell me it's never going to happen. And I remember sitting there in the office and I said, What do you mean?
Wow.
I said, what do you mean? Mind you, she was a white woman, so she didn't get it. And that was one thing I had to remind myself, like, I have an audience here. And so she just didn't get it. She said, I've never seen a conference specifically for Black women. She said this. And then she said,
time we have one. How about that?
And then she said, you also don't have a specific topic. And I said, what do you mean? It's called The Best Me. It's for women who want to, live their best life. She goes, that's not a niche. You need to have a specific niche. So she said, focus on Black women entrepreneurs, or Black women in business, or Black women this. And I left that meeting so deflated. And I wasn't sad, but I was hurt. Like, I was like, wow, like she really doesn't see it. But I had to remind myself, one, that she was not my target audience. I had to remind myself that. But then
I love that.
One thing that I had to remind myself of, Sheryl, was that, so Felicia just commented, when God gives you the vision, he'll make the provision. I believe that. And along those lines of what I had to remind myself is that there are some, like, I really do believe she meant sincerely and wholeheartedly everything she said. She really did not believe that it could happen because she had not seen it happen. And there are some people who really cannot believe until they see. And she didn't mean any harm by it. She was not trying to rain on my parade. She wholeheartedly had never seen it. So she said that can't happen. However, there are those of us who have this vision and who have this purpose, like boiling inside of us, waiting to spew it out. And the one thing I would say is surround yourself with others who have also birthed a vision or who have a vision of their own, because they will be able to speak your language. They will be able to, if you're sharing something that you're feeling, if they've been there before, they'll be like, oh girl, yes, I've been there before. That is normal. They also know what it feels like to have something that you're trying to create. And, there's a certain sensitivity that comes around with it,
Do you also believe, though, Lauren, and I hate to cut you off, but just thought came in, and sometimes they come and go, and then I'm not going to.
Go ahead. We're chatting.
But do you sometimes, no, not sometimes, I believe this wholeheartedly. Some things they're not going to get. Like, we have structures in place that says in order to get this result, you have to do those things. And maybe that is true. But when you're targeting culture, you have to get culturally in tune with who your target audience is. We walk a little differently.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
We come in many different colors. Yeah. We come in many different spirits. There's not a one target for us. Not everybody likes rap. Some of us do, some of us don't. Some of us like opera, some of us don't. Some of us like country, some of us don't. We're very a mixed creature, but there's a certain thing about Black women in particular that we share a common interest in. That's why it's important for every board or every corporation to include Black people in their product design, include Black people at the corporate level, because you get a different idea of what we like. Yes, we sometimes paint our nails pink, orange, and green because we do. And we sometimes wear long hair and then it's short because we do. There's no rational reason, but the only person who would understand that is another Black woman. We don't question it. So to me, it was naivety. Give me the word because it's not coming out. Naivety is the word.
Yeah.
On her part.
Yeah. No,
her intentions were good, but there was some cultural missing there, a piece that she couldn't see your vision because your vision was on fire. I don't know. I just felt the need.
Well, no, that's true. And what I had to remind myself of was, I could have easily walked out of that office defeated. Because one thing she also told me too, I think I went to her like in July. Like we planned the conference fairly quickly. And she said, October, that'll never happen. She literally said, conferences of this magnitude take 9 months to 12 months to plan. And she said, if I were you, I would recommend moving this to 2020. And what's interesting is like, one, if I would have, it would have been canceled because of COVID. Nobody knew that back then, but like it would have been canceled. But two, it was like, I mean, she just didn't know. Like I could have walked out of that office feeling very defeated. I did actually walk out feeling very defeated. But I remember like I was walking out and then I got in my car and I sat in my car outside of this woman's office. And I literally said, I was like, she doesn't even know what she's talking about. I literally said, I'm like, she has no clue what she's talking about. Like, I don't receive any of that. And I kept going. And that's where I would say I listened to, I had to trust myself over trusting others, which for me was something new. Which was something new for me. But that I would say that was one of, not the very first, but one of the first instances where I did. And I do believe that when you are in your purpose and you're focusing on your passion, like you will know what direction to go in.
Yes.
Like the doors will just start opening for you. And you, like, I remember the doors were opening and I had no clue how, but I wasn't questioning it. I had no clue, like the doors were just opening. And that's how I knew I'm not saying it was easy, but I also would say that I wasn't struggling. And that was another key factor for me in terms of like in my purpose. I really do believe that when you're in your purpose, it's not to say that it's not going to be hard work. It's not to say that it's not going to be long hours, but you're not going to have that constant feeling of grinding and not moving forward. You're not going to have that constant feeling of like, am I like progressing and making a difference? Like you will have that feeling of this is hard, but you will also have the feeling of like, I don't even know how this person even found me and called me, but like that was exactly the phone call I needed. I don't even know. And I think it happened with you, Sheryl, right? I don't know if I contacted you first or vice versa, but our first phone call, we both had said, like everyone was telling me, call Sheryl. And then you had said, everyone's telling you, call Lauren. And so when I tell you, like, I didn't know you from anywhere, like, but doors were just opening. And that, the doors were opening. And you know,
it felt like magic. There was like, there was no instant. It just felt like pure magic. And I love the fact that you talk about doors opening. But the other thing I want to say to you is I think that the world is really missing out on a blessing. For those who hate for no reason, I'm so sorry. Because you really are missing out on a beautiful blessing. We are not a hateful people. That's not who we are. It's not in our DNA. That's not how we rock. It's not how we roll. We are truly about being uplifting for all people. But right now, because we see the numbers don't support us, we have to go and help our fellow sisters. And one of the things I love today, I said, no Black woman will be left behind. I know that says no child will be left behind, but right now we're going to put a twist to it and say no Black woman will be left behind. But Lauren, do you realize what you did?
What?
What? I know 100%, and everybody who ever attended would say the same thing. What you did was there's a thirst and there's a hunger. And by opening up these platforms and by you doing that work, we give our fellow Black sisters a place to go and feel good about themselves and feel inspired about themselves and know that they too can achieve any goal that they have. I don't care what the goal is. If you really want it that bad, I'm telling you can have it. I got my faith back after talking to my son. I got my faith back after talking to Lauren. And not to say that I preach faith all the time. I have challenges too. I'm a human being. I hurt too. I fight too. But it's in those moments when I get with Lauren or I get with somebody else who's like mine and I get elevated into a very different vibration. And I want to say right now, if your vibration is low, cut that TV off. We're going to find out who the president going to be soon enough. And who the president is. What I'm asking my sisters to do, it's time for us to step up, grab each other's hand, and do what we do best. That's shine, baby. It's time to shine like a new penny. Well, how do you do that, Sheryl? One is you support platforms like mine. You support platforms like Lauren. I have asked time and time again, Follow me. Follow me on Instagram. It doesn't cost you anything to follow me on Instagram. It doesn't cost you anything to follow me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. That's support. If you can't give money, give support. When
Yeah.
Lauren has, if you don't know somebody or you know a sponsor, call the sponsor. Say, Lauren is doing this a great event. Let's help support her. We have to do that for each other. I am convinced. I put my life on it right now. Everybody, 1111. I put my life on it. Felicia Duncan, Gary, Blodger. I hope I didn't mess your name up. Alicia Marie, Julius, I call. This is our time to shine. This is not an accident. You better know that everything happens in due timing. And this is our time. This is our time to not only shine, this is our time to rise. And the best way we do that is together. This is not about individuality. This is about, they said, there's an old African proverb. If you want to go fast, go home. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to no longer have conversations that don't support our most audacious self. I don't want those conversations. I don't even want to have angry conversations because there's enough of that in the world. I don't want to match their anger and their way of being with where we are. I want to rise. Like Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah, we have to find things that feed your spirit. Right?
Yes.
That when you, either after a conversation you have with somebody or after you do it, maybe it's just going for a walk, that you feel a certain peace, that you feel like, okay, I can breathe. And whatever it is that comes my way, like, I got it.
Yes.
And there's certain people that do that for you. There are certain things that can do that for you, but it's really important to know that and to be intentional about it. Because I know what that is for me. Yes. But half the time I need to remind myself, like, Lauren, slow down. Like, I have to be intentional about it. Yeah. I have to be intentional about it. So.
Well, Lauren, I want you to know that one of the things that I love about what I do is because I get an opportunity to engage with individuals like you, and you guys give me life. You give me so much life. You just make my day shine even more brighter. And I want to know today, I want to ask you, how can we support you?
It's a good question. I'm here, and I say this to you all the time, Sheryl. Like, I'm here to support you. I am here to create connection. So I would say this, like, the best way to support the Best Me conference. So we had already started before COVID. October 17th was supposed to be the Best Me 2020. We did a virtual series earlier, I think from April to June maybe, and we're planning another virtual series for the spring, specifically, obviously, for Black women business owners. So the way that you can support is to connect with us, is to connect us to people who need a platform like this. Connect us to sponsors who want to give to Black women. Because for us, I mean, all of our sponsorship dollars literally go directly into the pockets of Black women or to the hands of Black women. We're not keeping any of the money. We do have some things in the works that, we haven't made public yet to share, but that's the best way to support, is to invite Black women to connect with us. And then if you have sponsors hi, Dr. Vira, if you have sponsors who support and love Black women, or even, maybe they want to begin to support Black women, send them our way so that we can connect them with our audience, with you.
What's your website? Do you have a website?
Yeah, so the Best Me Conference is www.thebestmeconference.com. You can follow us on social media at The Best Me Conference. My personal Instagram is at Lauren J. Jennings. So yeah, feel free to connect with us. And like I said, we have some things in store for 2021. And it's these conversations that, again, remind me of my why. It's these types of conversations where I'm like, okay, this is why we created the Best Me Conference. This is the feeling that, we want every Black woman to walk away with.
Yes.
So thank you, Sheryl. Thank you you helped me remember my why. Thank you for that.
I love that. I love that. And I want to say, Lauren, I love you. And I love everything that you represent. I love your spirit. I love your passion. I love your tenacity. I love your ability to have faith in trusting your intuition to continue to move forward. If I can ever support you in any way, that's what my platform is called. Connect Dots at the top right. Connect Dots. That's what I do. I connect dots. If I can put you in touch with somebody that can provide you with any sponsorship, I'm looking for sponsors myself. I'm looking to launch my business, but I share. There's more than enough room.
Yes.
I
always say, get rid of that scarcity mentality. There's enough to go around for all of us. So.
Yes.
And that's why we connect the way we do, Sheryl.
I know. I love her. Don't you guys love her? Isn't it inside and out? Inside, just beautiful. Inside and out. Inside and out. Well, I want to thank you. The thing that's really beautiful is that we start at 5. It's now 6:01 and the time just flies. But I know to those who are out there, please do follow Lauren and do also follow me. I'm on Facebook. Where you can best follow me is on my YouTube channel. Link Instagram and my YouTube. And I'm all things Sheryl Grant. I want to say to everybody out there too, I want to say, Sheryl, shout out to Queen because this conversation was everything. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. No, I love it. It's apologetically, right? Oh my God. Just want to say to everybody as we go through this turmoil that we're going through, or this patch, the best thing we can do is to come together as community. Community is our power.
Yeah.
The best thing we can do is support each other. Spin with Black businesses. I'm on the board for the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. We support Black business, support those Black businesses, whether it be Pound Business or Alicia Marie or Rain with Red Door Catering or any of those individuals. If I didn't mention you, please don't take no offense because you're there too. To support the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce, but also just in general, start thinking, double thinking when you go to shop. Where are you shopping? Who is actually getting your dollars on Amazon? Because it's time for us to really start rethinking that. There are a lot of vendors out here and a lot of women that are struggling to keep their businesses alive. They got billions. Last time I checked, Bezos he got billions. I'm not mad at you, Bezos. Do your thing. But right now, we need to support Black women. And we need Black women to be able to thrive in this new economy. And we are going to get out of this together and we're going to shine together. You mark my words and you can come back and tell me if it don't happen. 2020 is still going to end with a bang and 2021 is going to even be better. And you can come back to me and say, I told you so. How about that? You agree?
How about that?
Yes. Well, Lauren, I love you. Thank you
so much. No, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for, and I'm a broken record, but thank you for creating this platform because these are the platforms that we need, right? These are the platforms that we need to bring us to us. These are the platforms that we need to see us because we might not see us in every platform. These are the platforms we need to inspire us, to help us grow. When we say that Black women support Black women, like these are the platforms that we need to see to remind us of that. So thank you for being you, Sheryl. I appreciate you. I can't say it enough. Thank you.
You can see we got mad love for each other.
I know. I love you, Sheryl Grant.
All the time. Every time we see each other, we're like this. But we want to have this mad love for you too. And we want to see you rise too. So God bless everybody. Take care. Until next time, okay?
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.